Okay, so good morning. So we'll start with the next module. So in this module, what we'll be covering is tools and methods used in cyber crime. So in this what are the contents we are going to see is introduction, proxy server, anonymizer, password cracking, keylogger, spyware, virus and worms, torsion, backdoor, steganography, DOS and DOS attacks, SQL injection, and buffer overflow. So these things will be checking in this part. So the textbook, as usual, for this topics which you have to refer is it is present in this textbook, and the chapter for this topic is chapter 4, and the title of that chapter will be Tools and Methods Used in a Cybercrime. So first we start with what is the introduction, how the tools are used. So as the internet and computer networks are integral part of information system, attackers have in-depth knowledge about the technology and or they gain through knowledge about it. So what it means is, so whoever is attacking, so they can't do just log in and do, because they'll be caught. So in that case they have to have a in-depth knowledge about how these things are going on. As the internet and computer network are integral part of the information system, attackers have in-depth knowledge about the technology and or they gain through knowledge about it. The basic stages of an attack. So what are the stages the hackers try to do? First one, initial uncovering. So what is that initial uncovering will be? So the first step, called as reconnaissance, the attacker or gather information. So what is the first step? So they try to gather all the information, what is his name, from where, what is IP address, from where they have to act, all these details they'll be taking. So that's what is gather information as much as possible about the target by legitimate means. So what they do initial covering, gather information as much as possible about the target by legitimate means. In the second step, the attacker uncover as much information as possible on the company's internal network. So they try to see what are all the information they have gathered, whether it is it genuine, and see what are the companies, from where the IP address, from where they have been tried, they want to hack the information. All these they will be doing in the initial uncovering. So next stage is a network probe. So they have to know whether where they have to ping, whether it is a geo, whether it is a Airtel network, or whatever it is. If it is so, then what is the IP address of that? So that's what here in the second stage, a ping sweep of the network IP address is performed to seek out a potential target, and then a port scan tool is used to discover exactly which service are running on a target system. That's what a network probe is. A ping, a sweep of a network IP address is performed to seek out the potential target and the port scanning. So now you'll be knowing there are so many ports, USB ports, headset port, projectors port, LAN connection port, power charging port. Like this, there are so many ports. Same way here also, they'll try to scan for which port the services are provided and what is the target port where I have to hack. So these are the things they'll be checking out before the act. That is a network probe. That is a second stage. In the third stage, crossing the line towards electronic crime. Then they just see about a e-crime. Now the attacker is toward committing what is technically a computer crime by exploiting possible holes on the target system. So that's what is a crossing the line towards electronic crime, e-crime. Now the attacker is towards committing what is technically a computer crime by exploiting possible holes on the target system. Capturing the network, next stage is capturing the network. At this stage, the attacker attempts to own the network. The attacker gains a foothold in the internal network quickly and easily. grab the data. Now that the attacker has captured the network, he or she takes advantage of his or her position to steal confidential data, customer credit data information, deface web pages, alter process, and even launch attacks at other sites from your network. That's what a grab the data. In covering attacks, this is the last step in any cyber attack, which refers to the activities undertaken by the attacker to extend misuse of the system without being detected. This is what how the basic stages the attacker will be tried to do. First one, initial uncovering. So initial uncovering, first try to gather what are all the information is required. So that is the first step in the initial uncovering. Then try out what are the information possible in the company's internal network. So that was the first initial uncovering. Next one, network probe, a ping sweep of a network IP address is performed. So just trying out what is the actual IP address required for the target to attack, and what is a port, which port they have to attack, and which ports are in the service. So these things they'll try to find out in a network probe. Next one, crossing the line towards electronic crime. So that is e-crime. Now the attacker is towards committing what is technically a computer crime by exploiting possible holes on a target system. That's what the crossing the line towards electronic crime. Next one is capturing the network. At this stage, the attacker attempts to own the network. The attacker gains a foothold in the internal network quickly and easily. Grab the data. Now that the attacker has captured the network, he or she takes advantage of his or her position to steal confidential data, customer credit card information, deface web page, alter process, and even launch attacks at other sites from your network. Then covering tracks, this is the last step in any cyber attacks, which refers to the activities undertaken by the attacker to extend misuse of the system without being detected. That's what we have just checked out. What are the different stages the attacker will do? So next one, proxy server and anomizer. So what is proxy server? Proxy means what? The meaning of proxy is it's a not actual one. So now suppose if you have one server, that is our original server. But instead of having there, they try to keep it in the supporting one. Not the original one, or a replacement of that, or trying, why they do that replacement is to speed up. So then that is what is called as a proxy server, and that's what you people will be saying the proxy attendant. Same way, proxy server. And anomizers, proxy server is what is a computer or a network which acts as an intermediary for connections with other computer on that network. A proxy server has following purposes. Keep the system behind the certain, speed up access to store resource. So when we want to speed up any resources, so then we use a proxy server. Then specialized proxy server. So if I want only to speed up of the attachments which we have sent, so then we can use a proxy server only for attachments. So that's what specialized proxy server are used to filter unwanted content such as advertisements. So anything like that we can even do. That is what is called as a proxy, specialized proxy server. So then proxy server can be used as IP address multiplexer to enable to connect the number of computer on the internet whenever one has only one IP address. An anonymizer or an anonymous proxy is a tool that attempts to make activity on the internet untraceable. So now I'm trying to find out what is fourth semester students of cybersecurity and where they are. But I will not disclose what I am doing. So then that is what is called as a anonymizer. So it accesses the internet on the user behalf, protecting personal information by hiding the source computer, identifying the information. So that's what the proxy server will be doing and anonymizer will be doing. So proxy server, it is on behalf of the original one, it will be do. Why should we use? What is the purpose of using a proxy server? Keep the system behind the for some certain information. Then speed up the access. So I want to speed up access to the resources. Then we use a proxy server. Along with that, we use a specialized proxy server are used to filter unwanted content such as advertisement. So I want to only do it for a specialized proxy server. Or proxy server can be used as IP addresses multiplexer to enable to content number of a computer on the internet whenever one has only one IP address. So what is phishing? Phishing is a fake or false email which can infect systems with in addition to steal personal and financial data. What is phishing? Phishing is a fake or a false email. So now I send some. Nowadays you can see someone say that we get some messages from Facebook saying that my Facebook details has been hacked by somebody and they have created and don't accept my friend request. Means someone else is doing. That is what is called as a phishing is a fake or a false email which can infect system with in addition to stealing personal or financial data. How phishing works? Fisher works in the following ways. First one, plan. First stage of phishing is first is planning. Decide the target. Who is a target? Which is a target system where I have to attack. So that's what a planning is. Then set up, create methods for delivering the message and to collect data through the target. So then third one, attack. Fisher sends a phony messages. So some messages you try to send. Then collection, record the information of victim. Fifth one, identify theft and fraud. Use the information that they have gathered to make illegal purchase or commit fraud. Next one is a password cracking. So what is this password cracking? So now every one of you, even your Gmail, Facebook, your ATM cards, everything you have a password. So in ATM you may have some digits, some 4-digit number, 6-digit number, some passwords will be there. Then I want to crack your passwords. Then how to do it? So password cracking is a process of recovering passwords from data that has been stored in or transmitted by the computer. Example of guessable password include blank. So sometimes some people will try to guess. So what may be the password? So the first option generally everyone will be doing is a blank one. So next one, the password like password or passcode and admin. Something like this, they may try to just crack and see how whether it is matching or not. So there's something like series of letters from the QWERTY, something in your keyboard. For example, QWERTY, or you can say ASFD. So these may be series of letters what we try to guess whether is this the password. So then username or a login name. Sometimes generally what we do, whatever our names is there, the same passwords we give. So that is also one false method because the people can try to hack us or they can try to track. So then user birthplace or date of birth or relatives or a friend's name. So now what we generally do, so we generally try to keep our birth date as our passwords, birthplace also as passwords, or relatives names or friends names, something like that. So these are the ways where we keep, but still we are not in a position to keep the passwords like that. So then user vehicle number, sometimes even some people, they are very fond of their vehicles, then they give the passwords as their vehicle number, or sometimes they may be office numbers, or sometimes maybe residential number or a mobile numbers. Name of a celebrity who is considerable to be an idol. It may be actors, actresses, spiritual gurus by the user. Anything can be there. Sometimes if there is a celebrity. So simple modification of one of the preceding, such as fixing a digit particularly one, or reversing the order of the letters. So password cracking attacks can be classified into three categories. One is online. How do we crack? One, we try to do it as a online attacks, and another one is a offline attacks, or one more is a non-electronic attacks. Example: social engineering, shoulder stuffing, dumpster diving. So these are the non-electronic attacks they can do. So these are the different stages or categories where the passwords can be cracked by any person. So one is online attack, another one is offline attacks, another one is a non-electronic task. Okay, we see one by one how the passwords can be cracked. So first one, online attacks. The most popular online attack is a man in the middle. That is MITM. What is that? Man in the middle. So what this says, the most popular online attack is man in the middle. MITM attack. Also termed as bucket brigade attack, or sometimes even it is also called as a Janus attack. So this what online attacks are doing it. It will first form of active ever drops in which the attacker establishes a connection between a victim and the server to which a victim is connected. So that's what the online attacks are. So then offline attacks usually require physical access to the computer and copying the password file from the system onto removable medium. That is offline attacks. Strong, weak, and random passwords. A weak password is one which could be easily guessed, short, common, and system default password that can be easily found by executing a brute force attack and by using subset of all possible passwords. Strong password is long enough, random, or otherwise difficult to guess, producible only by the user who chooses it. Random password is a stronger if it is excludes a mix of upper and lower case letters, numbers and other symbols when allowed for the same number of characters. General guidelines applicable to the password policies are: first one, keylogger and a spider. Generally, what we do for the password policies is a keystroke logging practice of noting or logging the keys struck on the keyboard. So now we have so many keys in the keyboard. Then we try to keep that as a login. So then keystroke logging. Keystroke logger or a key logger is a quicker and easier way of capturing the password and monitoring the victim IT safe behavior. It can be classified as software keylogger and a hardware keylogger. So again, the software, the keyloggers it can be classified as software keylogger and a hardware keylogger. What is software keylogger? A software keylogger or software program installed on the computer system, which usually are located between the operating system and the keyboard hardware, and even keystroke is recorded. Then keylogger usually consists of two files that get installed in the same directory, that is dynamic link library files and executable exe files that install the DLL file and trigger it to work. So then hardware keyloggers are small hardware device connected to the PC and or to the keyboard and save every keystroke into a file or in the memory of the hardware device. These keys loggers look like an integrated part of a such system. Hence, bank customers are unaware of these presence. Anti-key loggers, anti-key logger is a tool that can detect the keylogger installed on the computer system and also can remove the tool. So what is this anti-keylogger? We don't know. We just go for a cyber cafe and enter some keys. But if there is a anti-key logger, definitely whatever we have entered the passwords, that will be automatically deleted. So firewall cannot detect the installation of a key logger on the system. Hence, the anti-key logger can detect installation of a key logger. This software does not require regular update of a singular signature base to work effectively, such as other antivirus and anti-spy programs. So prevent the internet banking frauds. It prevents ID thefts. It secures email and instant messaging and chatting. Then spyware. A spyware is a malicious software secretly installed on the user's personal computer. Spyware such as keylogger are installed by the owner of the shared corporate or public computer on purpose to secretly monitor others' users. So this is what it says about anti-log key locker. It may be software and a hardware key locker. Everyone are there? Answer your attendance. Abrish,
Yes, ma'am.
Anu,
Present, ma'am.
Ashok,
Present, ma'am.
Benita,
Present, ma'am.
Bhavishya, Chaitra,
Present, ma'am.
Diksha,
Present, ma'am.
Deepika,
Present, ma'am.
Murli Krishna,
Present, ma'am.
Arshit,
Present, ma'am.
Kishore,
Present, ma'am.
Manjunath,
Yes, ma'am.
Nayana,
Present, ma'am.
Nilanjan, Nishant, Rajeshwari,
Present, ma'am.
Ramya,
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi,
Present, ma'am.
Srinivas, Sunil,
Present, ma'am.
Okay, so we were seeing about we'll just have a brief summary what we have done till now. So far we have started with uh, how the uh, tools and methods used in a cyber crime. So and we have seen what was the introduction. As we all know, any cyber crimes will be done with the help of internet and computer network. These are the two main things. Along with that, we require a laptop system. These things are required. As the internet and computer networks are integral part of the information system, attackers have. So we cannot just say I'll just attack. So but here we have to see what is the depth information the attackers will be having. So that's what here in-depth knowledge about the technology, and or they may have a gain through a knowledge about it. So they would have not known, but still they have learned it how to hack the system. So that is the main thing and main tool. Which are the tools available? They just go through it and find out how to do such things. So that's what here the attackers will be doing. The basic stages of any attacks are initially uncovering a network probe, crossing the line towards electronic e-crime. So that's what here the basic stages of an attacks are. Initial uncovering. So I just initially gather all the information and say that from where the system, what is IP address, all these information which they try to collect. So that is initial uncover. Next one is a network probe. So in the network probe, a ping sweep of a network IP address is being done and find out what is an IP address of the particular network. Along with that, crossing the line towards electronic crime. So what is a crime? How the electronics, we are using electric things, how these crimes have been done, whether the computer crime to exploit from where the target is, what is the target fixed. Then next one is capturing the network. At this stage, the attacker attempts to own the network. The attacker gains a foothold in the internet network quickly and easily. Grab the data, now they start attacking or capturing the network. Then take the advantage of positions to steal confidential data, maybe some credit card information, web pages, then altering the process, even launch attacks at other sites from your network. So that is what is a grab the data. Then covering tracks. This is the last step in any cyber attacks, which refers to activities undertaken by the attacker to extend misuse of the system without being detected. Next, we move on to a proxy server and anonymizers. So what is proxy server? Proxy means what? We just replace original server, replicate the original server, so that why do the proxy servers are required? Proxy servers are used to speed up. One reason, for main reason, is to speed up the transferring of data. So the proxy server is a computer on a network which acts as an intermediary. So that's what I told, intermediary. Intermediary means it is not the original server. It is a temporary server. When we send any information, so to make it faster, they use a intermediate connections with the computer network to send the data packets fast. A proxy server has the following purpose: keep the system behind the curtain, speed up access to resources through caching. Specialized proxy server are used to filter unwanted content such as advertisement. Proxy server can be used as IP address multiplexer to enable to connect number of computer on the internet whenever one has only one IP address. Then an anonymizer or anonymous proxy, it is also one tool that attempts to make activity on the internet untraceable. So now if I am trying to do something, I should not be identified by another person. That's what is called as an anonymizer. It accesses the internet on the user's behalf, protecting personal information by hiding the resource computer's identify the information. What is phishing? Phishing is a fake or a false email which can infect system with, in addition to stealing personal and financial data. So what is phishing? Along with taking the personal and financial data, then you infect your emails by passing the false emails. So then how phishing works? Phisher works in the following ways. One is planning, decide the target. Second one, step up, create methods for delivering the message and to collect the data about the target. Third one, attack. Phisher sends a phony messages. Collection, record the information of victims. Identify theft and fraud, use the information they have gathered to make illegal purchase or commit fraud. Then what is password cracking? A password cracking is a process of recovering passwords from data that have been stored in or transmitted by a computer. Examples of guessable passwords include, so maybe blank, so we may leave a blank, or there may be passwords like we generally type password only. So PASSOWROD, or we may try saying passcode, PASSCODE, or sometimes we may give a admin. So there may be some of these passwords, guessable passwords. So that's what here the password says to us. Next, a series of letter from a quad QWERTY, anything something like keyboard. For example, QWERTY or ASDF or QWERTY. So something like this we can try to find out. Then usernames or login names, name of the users, friend or relative, or a pet name. So we may try to give, we may guess what may be the password, maybe friend's name or maybe relative name or a pet name. So to which they try to love so much. Maybe they would have kept that password. So then user's birthplace or date of birth or relative or a friend's. User vehicle number, office number, residence number, or a mobile number. The name of a celebrity who is considered to be an idol. Example, so they may say that we love some actors and we try to keep his names only for the password. Maybe some situations. So then that is also one way of cracking. So that is actress name or spiritual gurus. Maybe I am the follower of some person, some spiritual guru. So in that case, I may try to keep the password as his name only. Maybe this is maybe one option. Then simple modification of one of the preceding, such as suffixing a digit, particularly one, or reversing the order of letters. Then password cracking attacks can be classified under three categories as follows. One may be online attacks, another may be offline attack, and other one is a non-electronic attacks. So first one, online attacks. The most popular online attack is man in the middle, AITM attack, also termed as a bucket bridge attack, or sometimes it is also called as a John Doe attack. So it is a form of active EVS dropping, in which the attacker establishes a connection between a victim and the server to which the victim is connected. So they try to connect. So suppose when we have a connection, now if I start calling you people, any one of your phone, so there may be end-to-end connection. But maybe sometimes where they try to, you would have seen in some movies where they try to trap your phone calls. So something like that, that is what is a online attack also, where the victim try to find how are the details can be stolen. The next one is an offline attack. Offline attacks usually require physical access to the computer and copying the password file for the system onto a removable medium. Strong, weak, and random passwords. A weak password is one which could be easily guessed, short, common, and a system default password that could be easily found by executing brute force attack and by using subset of all possible passwords. So then what is a strong password? Is a long enough, random, otherwise difficult to guess, producible only by the user who guess it. So we would have seen that. So nowadays when we are giving a password, it is mixed with letters, numbers, as well as a special character. So when we mix all these, it becomes very difficult for anyone to guess. So that's the reason. In that case, we call it as a strong password. Then random passwords. A password is a strong, but it includes a mix of upper and lowercase letter, numbers, and other symbols, then allowed for the same number of characters. So the general guidelines applicable to the password policies are, so what are the password policies are? First one is a keylogger and a spyware. What is keylogger? Keylogger, keystroke logging, practice of noting the keys struck on the keyboard. So how to identify? We would have seen in so many movies where they try to give and they try to press the keys, they'll identify, okay, which keys they have pressed. So that is what a keystroke logging is. Keystroke logger or a key logger is quicker and easier way of capturing the password and monitoring the victim IT Seva behavior. It can be classified as software keylogger and a hardware keylogger. So what we can do is it can be classified as a software keylogger and a hardware keylogger. So then what is a software keylogger? So software keylogger are software programs installed on a computer system which usually are located between the operating system and the keyboard hardware, and keystrokes is recorded. So what this software keylogger is, it is one type of software, but where it is between a keyboard and a operating system, and it will be recording what is the keys I have pressed. So that is what is called as a software key loggers. So then key logger usually consists of two files that get installed in the same directory, a dynamic link library file and an executable E file that installs the DLL file and triggers it to work. Then what is hardware keylogger? Hardware keylogger are small hardware device connected to the PC or to a keyboard and save every keystroke into a file or in the memory of the hardware device. These keyloggers look like an integrated part of such system. Hence, bank customers are unaware of their presence. Anti-keyloggers is a tool that can be detect the keylogger installed on the computer system and also can remove the tools. First one, firewall walls cannot detect the installation of a keylogger on the system. Hence, anti-keyloggers can detect installation of a keylogger. This software does not require regular updates of signature bases to work effectively, such as other antivirus and anti-spyware programs. So then prevent the internet banking frauds. How to prevent the frauds from the bank? Then it prevents ID theft. They can try to find out my ID details. It secures email and instant messages and the chatting. And then what is spyware? Spyware is a malicious software secretly installed on the user personal computer. Spyware such as keylogger are installed by the owner of the shared corporate or a public computer on purpose to secretly monitor others' users. Next, we move on to a virus and a worms. What is virus? A computer virus is a program that can infect legitimate programs by modifying them to include a possible evolved copy of itself. Viruses can take some typical actions. First one, display a message to prompt an action which may set to the virus, delete files inside the system into which viruses enters, scramble data on a hard disk, causes erratic screen behavior, halt the system. Just replicate the message themselves to propagate further harms. Types of virus. Computer virus can be categorized based on attacks on various elements of the system and can put the system and personal data on the system in a danger. First one, boot sector virus, program viruses, multi-participate viruses, steal viruses, polymorphic viruses, microviruses, ActiveX and Java control. So these are the types of viruses. So what is virus? What is virus and worms? A computer virus is a program that can infect legitimate programs by modifying them to include a possible evolved copy of itself. Viruses can take some typical actions, display message to prompt an action which may set off viruses, delete files inside the system into which virus enters, scramble data on a hard disk, cause erratic screen behavior, halt the system, that is PC, just replicate themselves to propagate further harms. Then types of viruses. Computer viruses can be categorized based on attacks on various elements of the system and can put the system and personal data on the system in danger. Then boot sector virus, program virus, multi-purpose viruses, stealth viruses, polymorphic viruses, microviruses, ActiveS and Java control. A computer worm is a self-replicated malware computer program which uses a computer network to send copies of itself to other nodes, and it may do so without any user intervention. So what is computer worms? Is a self-replicating. Self-replicating means it replicate itself, where malware computer program which uses a computer network to send copies of itself to other nodes, computer on the network, and it may do so without any user intervention. So then Trojan virus, Trojan horse. The Trojan horse is a program in which malicious or harmful code is contained inside apparently harmless programs or data in such a way that it can get control and cause harm. Trojan can get into the system in a number of ways, including from a web browser, via email, or in a bundle with other software downloaded from the internet. Unlike viruses or worms, Trojan do not replicate themselves, but they can be equally destructive. On the surface, Trojan appears beginning and harmless, but once the infected code is executed, Trojan kick in and perform malicious functions to harm the computer system without the user knowledge. What is backdoor? A backdoor is a means of access to a computer program that bypasses security mechanism. A programmer may sometimes install a backdoor so that the program can be accessed for troubleshooting of other purposes. An attacker often choose backdoor that they detect or install themselves as a part of an exploit. In some cases, a worm is designed to take advantage of backdoor created by earlier attacks. How to protect from a Trojan horses and backdoors? Stay away from subsequent suspected websites. So when we see there is some suspected website, so you don't click on that or a web links. Surf on the web cautiously. Whenever we surf anything, whenever we start searching, we should surf it very cautiously. Then install antivirus or a Trojan to remove the softwares. So that's how here Trojan horses is. What is Trojan horse? Trojan horse is a program in which malicious or a harmful code is contained inside apparently harmlessly programming or data in such a way that it can get control and causes harms. Trojan can get into the system in a number of ways, including from web browsers, via email, or in a bundle with other software downloaded from the internet. Unlike viruses or worms, Trojan do not replicate themselves, but they can be equally destructive. So on the other surface, Trojan appear beginning and harmless, but once the infected code is executed, Trojan kicks in and performs malicious functions to harm the computer system without the user's knowledge. Then backdoor. A backdoor is a means of access to a computer program that bypasses security mechanisms. A programmer may sometimes install a backdoor so that the program can be accessed for troubleshooting or other purposes. An attacker often use backdoor that they detect or install themselves as a part of the exploit. In some cases, a worm is designed to take advantage of backdoor created by earlier attacks. How to protect from a Trojan and a Trojan horses and a backdrops? So don't try to click on any unsuspected websites or don't click on a web links. which you feel that it is not correct, which is not safe. So then we should not click on those type of websites or web links. Then always whenever we are browsing, we should be very cautiously whenever we are using on the web. So then install the antivirus or a Trojan which removes the software. Next one, steganography. So I'll stop here. In the next class, we'll continue with the other thing. So before we close, so what was the thing we have covered today? We have started with the introduction of tools, methods used in a cybercrime. So the basic stages of the attacks. One is initial uncovering, network probe, crossing the line towards electronic crime, then capturing the network, grab the data, covering the attacks. Then we have seen about a proxy server and an anonymizer. Then we have started seeing why do we use a proxy server, what is the work of anonymizer. Then we have seen about a phishing, how the phishing works. And then how do the password cracking takes place. Then what is password cracking, online attacks, offline attacks. So this is what we see about a password tracks. So again, in this case, how the passwords are classified. They are classified into three. One is online, another one is offline, another one is a non-electronic attacks. So we have seen what is online attack, what is offline attacks. So in offline attacks, what is a strong, what is weak, and a random password. A weak password where we just guess short and it will be common. Whereas in a strong passwords, there is a mixture of letters and it is very difficult to guess. So in the random password, it will be a mixture of lowercase, uppercase, numbers and other symbols. Then it is called as a random password. So general guidelines applicable to the password policies. One is a keylogger, loggers and a spywares. So keyloggers again can be classified into software keylogger and a hardware keylogger. Software keylogger, what is that? It is a software between the operating system and a keyboard. So hardware keylogger, it's a small hardware device connected to the PC and the keyboard. So how the software is in between, same way hardware is also in between the operating system and in between the PC and the keyboard. So anti-keylogger, so that if anyone is using this, either maybe software or a hardware, to avoid from them, we have something called as an anti-keylogger. So what this anti-keylogger tool will be doing is it will install the computer system and also remove the tools. So then the last one, the spyware. The spyware is a malicious software secretly installed on the computer's personal computer. Spyware such as keylogger are installed by the owner of a shared or corporate or public computer on purpose to secretly monitor other users. So then we have seen about what is virus and what is worm. Virus is a infected or legitimate program. So where the copies can be included. So then what is? Yes, I'll stop here. We'll continue. Yes, Sunil, you want to say something?
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ.
ಹೌದಾ, ಸರಿ, ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
ಹೌದು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 21 ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ನಿಮ್ದೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್?
ಅದು ನಂದೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 2. ಓಕೆ
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Okay, so we'll stop here. I will continue in tomorrow's class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.